About that. We've had a few teething problems today. The old software isn't working too well. The AI is not in our favor today. But welcome, Ramblers. We're here to do, we're just doing current events, really, the political shift in America and some current topics. So feel free to jump in on the comments, share your perspectives, even if they're different. That's what the roundtable is all about. Quick disclosure. We're not here to disclose anything. So we're here just to chat, friendly conversation, different perspectives, different viewpoints. So that's why it's a round table. So welcome, and I'll pass you over to my beautiful co-host from over the pond, Scotty Nichols.
What's up, brother? How you doing today? And yeah, I'm Scott Nichols, and my wife Jackie Nichols.
Hey.
I wanted to say hey to everybody. And yeah, I wanted to say what's up to everybody, all of our subscribers, all 93 of you. Thank you, you all for joining us. Much appreciated. And yeah, we're just gonna have some normal fun day ramble today. We thought instead of some different kind of topics, we're just gonna talk and ramble about some current topics that are going on now. And so, yeah, maybe, you know, I heard the other day Armani came up to visit you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you guys saw the other day? I wanted to hear about that.
Well, thank you, Scott. Yeah, my eldest daughter's come to visit me. Come and say hello quick. Pop your head in. She's here.
Hello.
So, yeah, she lives down south now. She moved down south a few years ago. So last time I saw her, actually, was when we were in Romania. So that was last summer at some point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've just been hanging out, really, having a bit of daddy-daughter time. Went on a nice hike today, saw some rainbows, went to some stone circles and some ancient mounds. And, yeah, we had a good time. So it's nice to have a bit of time with my daughter because I miss her. And nice to have her sat next to me now as a little moral support.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, hearts up, Armani. Good to see you. And yeah, we're going to dive into some current topics. I know Jackie had a couple questions for us and get us started off on our ramble today. So why don't you go ahead, babe? What you got?
Well, I know that you've found out some stuff about Oumuamua. Did you want to let us know about some of the new discoveries there?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was me and Brett were kind of talking earlier about Oumuamua. You know, we know that happened in 2017. But Avi Loeb has been talking about, before he had gave a couple theories. One was that it could be an alien craft. Another one that it could just be, you know, an asteroid. The other ones were that it could be a satellite. Now, they had said that they pointed radars and you know, all these satellites at it to see if they can get a signal from it, and they received no signal. And since they received no signal, they said that, you know, well, that blows his theories out of the water. Well, how do we know that we have the technology to even be able to hear them? If let's say it was a satellite, would we hear a ping? No. I mean, who's to say? Who's to say that there's not a transmission always going to Oumuamua? So anyway, Oumuamua had passed. Now all of a sudden, we've seen Avi Loeb at Harvard University talking about more of these coming back towards Earth. And it said not only is one that have the cigar shape coming back towards Earth, it said that it's bringing friends. I mean, you can look it up. It was a great little piece to watch. Yeah, I know you might know just a little bit about the Oumuamua coming in. And so these asteroids that are popping up, you know, are different shape. They're interstellar. So I'm excited to, you know, because we've launched up a bunch of probes. All different countries are all after this too. They've all launched up these probes and so forth, you know, up in the sky and satellites to be able to watch it. So when they do come back around, we're actually going to get some photos and some good stuff about that. So, I mean, I think our science and everything, you know, we salute them too. That's awesome. Let's find out more though. You got anything about Oumuamua?
Yeah, I've heard a bit today. I mean, it's something that I found fascinating. I think it was in 2019 it popped in, I think the first time. And it moved erratically. So it sped up, it slowed down, it could take corners, which isn't how asteroids or meteorites travel at all. So there's definitely something more to that. I mean, like you say, they said there's no signal coming from it. Number one, I would say, well, if NASA's saying that, we all know what NASA means in Hebrew, to deceive. So you can't really trust what NASA says. So there well could have been a signal. And would they have told us that? Probably not. or it could have been a technology or wavelength or something that we can't even comprehend, so we couldn't read it. One thing I've always thought about it is, like, this is just spitballing, but when I first heard about this, I thought it could be AI, like some sort of AI craft, because AI is a real consciousness, it is a real form of consciousness, it is a being in a sense. Like I've said it before, humans' first contact or first open contact on Earth is AI, because it's not something we created, it's something we discovered and came across. It's always existed. And I know many people in the disclosure movement and spirituality movement know that a lot of the ETs, their crafts, use AI to travel. It's a very conscious being. So I've always wondered if these huge mirror, these huge cigar-shaped meteorites, craft, whatever they would be, fly from place to place, and they download the AI. So I've always wondered that. But yeah, I think it's fascinating. I think this year so much is going to happen this year. 2025 is going to be a big year, man. It's been marked on the calendar for many people, including myself, who've always had their messages, then downloads at 2025. Everything's preparing for something in 2025. And it's already started off with a bang, right? You know, there's a complete political shift in the United States. You know, Trump's in, you know, we got a saying in the UK, which might not resonate to you, but it's there's this thing you put on your toast called Marmite, and you either love it or hate it. And that's kind of the same with Trump. Some people love him, some people hate him. But there's no doubt at all that things are changing and shifting in the States, and that is affecting everywhere. You know, JD Vance even called out Europeans, you know, and I'm in the UK. Freedom of speech is being attacked here. And a lot of people don't know this, but, you know, it's dictators. They say, oh, Putin's a dictator. I'm not saying Putin's a good guy or an amazing guy. But what I can say is, in the size of Russia compared to the UK, it's huge. And there's something like, I think it's something like last year, something like 5,000 people got arrested or put in jail in the UK for what they posted on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now X. And in Russia, it was only 500, you know. So freedom of speech, I would say that was a great. And he spoke to Romania. Many people from Romani Gypsy. The Romani Gypsies, the travelers. Some of them settled in Romania. They've lived there for hundreds of years now. And I know a lot of people in Romania, and their election was void because it wasn't the side that the globalists want. And he called that out. So that was big for us. I watched his speech live. I'm not a big fan of mainstream media news. I go around my mother's. She quite often has it in the background. I quite often flick into the headlines just to see what they're saying and what we could expect. And that was the first time that the news was on at my mum's, man. I actually enjoyed it because he called them out. He went there and called them out. And you know, let's be honest, if Kamala Harris had come in and they would have carried the agendas, would have locked America in. So it has given some hope to some Europeans, certainly Romania, the UK, and you know, this is testing times. And I mean, they talk about dictatorships, but the same as our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, sorry, he's already now through Apple. Now they can get anyone on an Apple or iPhone. Now they can get all the encrypted messages, which is a break of data trust. And also, he's closed down local elections, saying we can't afford local elections in the place where a new political party is starting to rise called Reform. So normally it was Labour, it was Conservatives. They were the two, you know, and now this Reform sneaking in. And in the UK, it's all about seats, you know, because it's not like America where you really have a two-party vote. There's so many parties that I think Labour only won by 20-something% of the vote, but because there's so many parties, that was enough for them to win. But now this Reform is in the polls, is doing really well. He's speaking for some similar stuff Trump is, putting UK first, changing some of this woke nonsense that's going around. You know, I'm not, you know, like the illegal immigrant thing. You get called a racist for that. Well, I'm not racist at all. My wife's a Romani Gypsy. I have friends from all over the world, actually. I'm a big believer in immigration, but it has to be done legally. And these people need to be documented and vetted. You can't just let millions of people into a country that are unvetted. Some of them are criminals with a completely different mindset. Just allow them to flow in at the cost of, they're putting them up in 4-star hotels. They're even putting them up in castles. The taxpayer are paying this while inflation's going through the roof. I'm unemployed. I had a wonderful little business going in the south of England. Rubbish clearance business is doing really well. Since COVID, like small businesses are just shutting down. You're seeing pubs, restaurants, shops, not the corporations, but the small business, the middle class are being hit. And you know, so yeah, I think I've rambled on enough there, Scotty. I'll pass it over to you. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we had another question. Jack had another question in line. So here we go. What you got?
Well, speaking of freedom of speech, in one of Trump's recent speeches, he mentions peace with strength, which seems to align with his inauguration promise to be a unifier and a peacemaker. Have you guys seen any progress towards these goals?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, Trump's already having talks with Putin and with Ukraine too. And then Ukraine, I've noticed they've been backing out of towards the peace treaty. I mean, why wouldn't they want a peace treaty? Their towns are getting destroyed, everything's getting destroyed. And he's talking about creating jobs. Yeah, that's that, the golden age is what we're talking about. Yeah, that's where, peace. And then, he's talking about bringing jobs to America. And I think people, it's like, people aren't ready for change and they don't like change very much. And, what he's bringing is change, and good things are happening if people give him a chance. So I think his administration too, I think the administration is, spot on. Everybody that's been hired. You got Caroline Levitt. I mean, she is great. Speaking of wokeness, I heard about her and Whoopi Goldberg going into it, and Whoopi Goldberg trying to school her and so forth, and just humiliate her. And next thing you know, Caroline Levitt was ready for that. So much props to her and salute to her. She's doing a great job. I mean, there's so many of these people that are doing a great job. How about you? What do you think about?
I mean, the war in Russia, it's one of them. It's a perspective kind of thing. And there's a lot of different views on that, I mean, Trump did call Zelensky a dictator. I mean, he has arrested some of his opposition, but that can happen in times of war. I mean, I personally would like to see some kind of election at some point. I understand through wartime that maybe that's not the time, but they can create peace. Basically what I'm getting at is I'd like to hear what the Ukrainians, we're hearing what American Trump's got to say. We're hearing what Zelensky's saying to say. And let's be honest, he's made a lot of money from the money given to him. It's on record. Some of the houses, hotels, land, millions and millions and millions and millions. That guy has profited from this war. And I would like to hear from the Ukrainian peoples through a vote, because they vote. A lot of people don't know this. Zelensky, when he went to become the prime minister, whatever it is over there, he ran on the thing to create peace with Russia. That was what he ran on. And we all know about the CIA coup from the last leadership in Ukraine, and that's what he ran on. And they were going to sign these deals. And it was actually our prime minister at the time, Boris Johnson, that ran in there and said, "Don't join NATO." Which again was an agreement created, that NATO, Russia wouldn't expand and NATO wouldn't expand towards Russia, which you can kind of get. I mean, you look in the United States, let's say Russia started building or wanted to make Mexico part of Russia. America wouldn't stand for that. No way in hell would they. And I can kind of get it, but it's such a complicated situation because, is Putin perfect? No. Is Zelensky? No. Is our prime minister in England? Hell no. I mean, they're World Economic Forum puppets, to be honest. All of them, just go from one to the next. And this is why reform could be a change for us. But I would like to see the Ukrainian people at some point have a vote. I mean, let's be honest, it's a war that can't really be won. So they can fund it from the outside, but it's devastated their population. Their male population is down now. You're talking elderly people are fighting. It's a war that can't really be won. And on Earth, man, you say, you can go back to the ancient Greeks times. Let's start from there. And from that, for sure, from that point to now, the Earth's been in a constant state of war in one place or another. Maybe it's time to try something new. Maybe it is time to create peace. And, we only do that by talking and negotiating. And before Trump come in, Biden and that administration, they were profiting from it. We all know about the Hunter Biden now and the kickbacks they were getting from the money from Ukraine. We know that now. Our government in the UK have certainly done all right from the weapon selling. And we signed treaties with them to get, we didn't give it to them. Biden just handed it to them, where the UK, we actually signed contracts. We would get some back in some kind of mining or something. But maybe it's time we need to negotiate and we need to start creating peace on Earth, because if we want to move forward as a civilization and we want to get intergalactic, I imagine there's some rules that come along with that. And one is probably a planet in a constant state of war probably can't be intergalactic and won't be allowed, because you've got to remember, like some people find this hard to believe, but there probably are other species out there. You know, a lot of people in our group would know this, and there probably are kind of rules. You know, I imagine slavery, child trafficking, and killing each other would be one of these things we do need to kind of clear up. We need peace on the earth. It's like the budgets as well, you know, the budgets that's spent on war each year. If there was no war and it was peace, and all that money is killing each other went into creating a beautiful civilization to knock out starvation, or just starvation, poverty, to create everyone stay safe and stable. Suddenly crime goes down. We can invest it in some new energy devices, so we're not destroying the planet, and it doesn't cost so much. People aren't struggling. Crime is almost like with the Matrix. The situation of the money creates crime because there isn't enough to go around. You have the 1% who have all this wealth, all these leaders that have all this wealth and money. They have, 1% has 90% of the wealth on earth. And then that causes crime, suffering, struggling, depression, anger. And this is all pointless, actually. There is enough to go around on the earth. We've got plenty to go. And I think moving forward, we do need to start creating some peace and some peace on earth. And we can't forget that Russia, they lost more people to the Nazi Germany than anyone else. If it wasn't for them, we probably wouldn't have won the war, and now they had NATO and Germany at their door again through Ukraine, and Ukraine was the strong point through the war where the Nazis, they dug in. So, from their perspective, I'm just trying to look at it from all sides. From their perspective, that must be like a FU kind of thing, and we can't carry on like this. What we're going to do, just have an endless war, and then that brings Europe and NATO and my country into it. We've got enough problems on our own streets, we need to start going towards peace is basically what I'm getting at, Scotty.
And Trump wants.
Yeah, totally. And Trump has said it time and time again that he wants to be known as the president that is peaceful. He wants to be known as a peace creator, and he's doing a damn good job because to even have, Putin and Zelensky even thinking about talking about a peace treaty. There's step number one. That's more than Biden did the whole time. 4 years, he could have stepped in right away and, tried to talk them into not even warring, and there would have been no war. Like Trump says, if he was in, the White House, there would have been no war. And that's what we need to get to, is having no wars. We can't talk amongst each other and be civilized. We're not cavemen anymore. Like you said, we're not in the Roman days anymore. We don't need to just kill, kill, kill. We should be working together. Could we imagine a place where all of the countries were together working with the AI, creating things to go to space? And, I find that special too, because, we're searching the stars. Every kid has looked up to the stars and just wondered what's out there and wondered, why aren't we going out there and looking? And we leave it to our government and stuff like that to help us fulfill those dreams by putting astronauts up into space. So then our children get, an opportunity. Oh, I can be an astronaut and I can actually go, Mars is a possibility of going 1 year. And there's people making that possible. But I think, like how Trump, he had talked about wanting to demilitarize and nuclearize the missiles and so forth. He's already said that before COVID had started, he had began talks with Russia. He had been in talks with China, and then all of a sudden COVID hits, and so then they stopped talking. The next thing you know, Biden takes over, and now we're at a war. So how crazy is that? We have to get past war. So those numbers. Yeah, exactly. And some of the money just being sent to during this war. It showed, America putting in $114 billion. And then they're losing it.
174 billion on paper, and Szynski cannot account of over 102 billion of it.
Yeah. While he has 15 homes and he has billions of dollars himself in his personal accounts and offshore accounts, he has a home in Florida. He has property in Florida. They made a pretty good deal, didn't they? Wow. He's showing his true colors. And then, they say 172 billion, and then he goes on crying and he says, well, I've only received 72 billion of that. Are you serious? Did you just come on and tell everybody that you received $72 billion worth of aid and so forth? That's just America. That's not including all the united other countries that have came together and united their money and gave to them as well. So it's not just America giving them billions of dollars, and then they're crying about where's my billions of dollars when he has all these huge homes and so forth, and property in Florida. This guy's rich, and then he doesn't want. They're going into having conversations. Trump and Putin are trying to get to a peace treaty, and then Zelensky for some reason keeps backing out. Why would you back out when you see your people dying, homes and everything are being crushed and demolished, and you still want to? My first thing would be is how could we get to a peace treaty right away? Stop that. That's amazing. And but yeah, it says that sending money over to the Ukraine, it's actually that there was an error in $6.2 billion. And then the Pentagon just had found out recently that there was another $2 billion error that they can't come up with. So that's like, where's the $2 billion that, was just said to go over there? Well, we have no receipts. We have nothing to track that. So you have no way to track $2 billion plus the other $6.2 billion. No, we have no way to track that. My goodness, what is wrong with them? The spending is just ridiculous. So, and yeah, we better, say hi to, we got Jim Murphy, Rosie, Armani, of course. And then we got Stefan out there. What's up? Thanks for watching, guys.
There's a comment.
And we got a comment too from the Ramblers, bro.
From Stephen or Stefan, it says, yes, the crazy thing is that behind the scenes countries work in cooperation on different projects in space. However, they present a different face to the public. And he also said that Trump is moving at a very fast pace. What do you think about that?
I'll let you.
Yeah, I think this was all decided, and I often say I do wonder over the last few years how much of it has been theatre and has been part of like freeing the consciousness from the trap of the matrix, and a lot of it, it almost seems scripted, and it seems like a lot of this was planned, ready to go, and they are taking on the deep state or the cabal, I would say. And of course, there are government groups and breakaway civilization that do work together, and that's why some people call this the prison planet, because we're left. They use the money from the consciousness of Earth, from America, all over the world to fund these projects. They ain't paying for it. They have mass amount of amazing technology, and it is a breakaway civilization. And I think Trump and his team, and I said it before, I had about 6-7 months ago, I was speaking to some friends, my parents, and then I said, look, I got a feeling that when this comes in, Elon Musk is going to have something to do with it. RFK and Kash Patel was these people before any of this was said, and I've seen this all manifested, and it is like a dream team, Some people don't like RFK. I'm a big fan. And I think, with his family's trauma that's happened in the past, this is getting healed now. And I think he truly wants to make America, and especially the children, healthy again. I mean, America's got a huge problem with this. And so have we here. But I mean, it's like, I think 60% of the population are seriously ill with something. And this isn't an accident, We are getting more better. We're getting on growing in technology and understanding and consciousness and understanding all the medical stuff and all that. But all that's happening, more drugs are coming out, more people are getting sick, and these people are getting richer. So I'm so happy that he's going to start looking into all this kind of stuff. And again, you get called an anti-vaxxer. Like I got called an anti-vaxxer through COVID. It's not that I'm anti-vaxxer. When I looked into the death rate of COVID was like less than the flu. I mean, it's not that bad. And when I looked into what mRNA was, I was like, this isn't a vaccine. This is something different. This is like gene therapy. They're changing the genetics. And I trust my DNA and genetics, So, I agree with that. I agree with that statement from Steve. Was it Steve or Stefan? Or Stefan? Totally agree with that. Go on, Scott. You got something to say?
Yeah, Jackie's got another one right in line with that.
Yeah, you were talking about Kash Patel. So how does his journey from India to the FBI embody the American dream? And then also, like, when you hear his story, what do you find the most inspiring? And Brett was touching on some of that.
Yeah, and with Kash, I mean, as an American growing up, you hear about how it's the land of the free. We do a pledge allegiance. We're that's in schools and stuff as we grew up when I was young. I mean, and all the diversity inside the USA. I always grew up, when I was growing up, I found it to be special. I mean, when you'd meet people from China, Japan, Russia, anywhere else. I thought, and then they were living there and it's like, oh, wow, you were from Russia, or, oh, wow, you're from China. Tell me about your culture. I was always so excited and to find that. And then to hear that somebody like Kash Patel, his family came from India and have the opportunity. And, that's America. That's what makes America, America. You can have that dream to be the lead FBI. And here's a dude that busts his ass, through government work. I mean, look, we know how, we're just, civilians and we're watching the government. How hard of a job is that, especially to be the leader of the FBI? I give this guy so much credit for living his dream, going from India, his family living there and coming to America and being the leader of the FBI just shows America right there. That's America at its finest. People don't give up on that dream. Americans don't hate other countries. We actually, I know a lot of people, and a lot of people that I know, none of us hate any other country. That's all bullshit. We don't hate any country. We love other countries, and we find it beautiful when we do come in. But like in hockey the other day, when the Canadians did boo us, the Americans did kick their ass. I'm just going to say I had to throw it out there. You could be mad at me or whatever if I had to say that, but I had to throw it out there. They did kick their ass. I'm just saying it was pretty cool. But, don't boo the national anthem because we don't boo you guys and stuff like that. That was my point on that. But America's, a place of, if America's were, if we were booing like Canada or somewhere else, that means we're booing ourselves because you guys are our friends and our family and you live here in America as well. So, as far as Kash Patel coming in, I think it's just the American dream at its finest being shown to the world. You can do this, people. You can do what you want if you live your dreams. Oh, and
I love that, Scotty. Yeah, I love that, Scotty. And Kash Patel, he's I watched seen a lot of him on podcasts, and the stuff he's calling out and he's saying and he's promised to do. He's told to change these institution of the FBI, which is not trusted anymore. And the Jeffrey Epstein list and all this stuff. Max, what's her name? Epstein's Maxwell. What's her name, man? God, I lost my thought there. Epstein's the one who was in prison. What's her name? Maxwell. What's that bloody name? Oh, I've lost my mind there. Well, anyway, she's the only person I've ever known in history to be arrested and charged and put in prison for child trafficking, and not a single person. Predators went to an island. Ghislaine, thank you. Ghislaine Maxwell. Thank you very much, Race. Man, I know that.
Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah. And this is something that I want to see out because... And I'm waiting for this. Now, they say it's the lesson. It's meant to be coming out very soon. This is very important to me because the people that are involved in this are high-figure people that are telling us what to do. And they have done the most disgusting things to children, male, female, young. Some of them are very young. And, we hear talk of the sacrifice and that I'm not disclosing that, but we have all heard about that, and it wouldn't surprise me. And some level this goes on, it really wouldn't. The adrenochrome industry, that's a real drug, and that really can be created. And also, one thing I'd like to add to what you say, it's the same as in the UK. We're an extremely diverse country, and it's good. Excuse my language, but dicks come in all shapes and colors, good and bad. I know English people that are complete assholes, and I know it doesn't matter. But it's almost like they've used this divide and conquer on the consciousness on Earth because we are an ape species, we are tribal, and we are so easily controlled through this, through the division of hate. And they're trying to create this. When actually, like you say, if you get down to the knuckles of it, if someone treats you good with love and respect and honor, we're all right with people. And most people, all people want is their family to be safe. They want to have enough money. They want to be secure. You want to go around, have a cook up. I want to go around Scotty's, have a nice cook up, have some food, some drink, sing some songs. But they have created this real division in society and in all countries, and they create it. It's like in the UK. You had these little girls that got stabbed in Southport. I cried my eyes out. One of these girls got stabbed 120 times. The government then lied to the people, said it was some guy from Wales, it wasn't a terrorist, there were riots, and they started arresting everyone. But then a couple of days before this happened, I think might have been in Birmingham, there was the Roman Egyptian community. One of their kids got taken into care, and they rioted, burnt things down. I'm not against them. My wife's a Roman Gypsy, but this is what I say about the two-tier in England. Not a single person was arrested. Actually, one person was arrested, which was a 40-something-year-old white English woman who was saying this is wrong, arrest them. So they arrested her. But when the Southport riots come, they're arresting people for tweeting, saying this is wrong. And then it turns out that the government completely lied to us, and it was a terrorist. You know, people are going to be angry about that. You know, it's just crazy at the moment. And I mean, it does give us some hope now, seeing America's there's like a new energy being released in America now. And I'm not saying, like you say, people are free; they have the right to choose and what they believe. But it does feel like there's a brand new energy coming over America at the moment, and they're really digging in. It feels like Trump and his team, which maybe was planned, and what he's gone through with being a lot of the stuff they tried to arrest him for was absolute nonsense if you look into it. And then they certainly, we know they tried to kill him twice. Very, very nearly succeeded one time, and on another timeline, I imagine that was a dark day on another timeline. But he's here now, and there's new energy, and that is good. The world needs a strong America like this. And what's he doing? He's going in trying to create peace in Russia. He's going in getting out this corruption. I mean, there's something like $5 trillion. They cannot trace where $5 trillion of your taxpayer money, they don't know where it is. That's just to speak of one of the things they found. Something like $270 million of taxpayer people in the United States of America was funding to do transgender on animals and then overdose them. I mean, what the fuck is that? I mean, then poor animal. What is that? 270. That's just, I mean, some of the stuff that's coming out is just crazy, man. And I'll tell you one thing in the UK, all they've been saying about Trump lately is about what he said about Zelensky being a dictator. They have barely mentioned Doge, because I guarantee you that the UK is under the control of some deep state or the cabal, whatever you want to call that. And if they were to look into the finances of where our taxpayer money goes, it would be a very similar blooming story. While they're sitting there and they're taking away the winter heating allowance because all the prices is inflation because of Russia. A lot of this is to do with the war in Russia, because we can't get cheap energy anymore, and we won't use any of our own energy because of the green carbon rubbish, even though England's the most tiniest country that puts hardly any of the world's carbon, not like it's anything, and it is just mad, man. It really is. So, yeah, I'm having a bit of a rant there, but it really does, things don't have to be like this, and it gets me. I care.
Yeah, we care, bro. And yeah, like you were talking about with the food and so forth, Caroline Levitt was giving a statement the other day about how our eggs have skyrocketed. Bacon, they're trying to hurt our farmers, and then Biden and them killed, what was it? I believe the number was around 100 million chickens. And so now that's, that just shows how quickly that affects the farmers. And then all of a sudden oh my gosh, we're paying, $10 goddamn dollars for bacon. We're paying, like hundreds of goddamn dollars for eggs. Oh, Lord help me. Next thing you know, propane is going to be going off the chart. Oh, gosh, no, please. Oh, USA, bring Trump back, god dang it. I'll salute that man. Yep. I thought I'd do a little voice in there, and Jackie's got some more.
Oh, I love a bit of Hank Hill, brother. I love a bit of Hank Hill. Love it.
There's a lot of comments in the chat.
Okay, we got a lot of comments, so we're going to get a little caught up, maybe slow down a little bit here because people are chiming in, and Jackie's got a question too. So,
first of all, Rosie says she loves Trump's picks.
Yeah, Rosie, I'm with you. We love Trump's picks too. He's got a great administration going on, and it's great to see these younger people that he has too coming up and voicing their opinions. I mean, it's awesome team he's got going.
And then she has a question.
What a diverse group, right? They call Trump sexist, they call him a racist, but he's got such a diverse group. And I think he wants the right people that care and love, and they want to create a new society, because what the globalist elites want is like basically to depopulate. Let's be honest, they say it out loud. They want to depopulate the world. You own nothing, we own everything, and you'll be happy about it. F you. Good picks.
And the Rosie's asking, what do you guys think about the Bible of Hamas? They shouldn't be allowed in. And we have trouble starting here as well. I think maybe she means in Australia.
Oh, over in Australia. Yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat that, Jackie? I didn't quite get that. It's about
saying, what do you guys think about the Bible of Hamas?
the Bible.
Bible of Hamas.
The Bible of the Hamas.
Not too sure on
Okay,
that
we're
one.
moving along. Next.
Yeah,
Muhammad, you're talking about Muhammad. Sorry, the Bible.
We'll have to come back to that one.
Yeah, I've never read their Bible, if I'm honest.
So Steve is wondering about what's going to happen to the CIA, and he's also thrown out Fort Knox. Is there gold there? I say yes.
Yeah, I say that, well, they're saying there's like 400 and something tons of gold at Fort Knox. And President Trump says he wants to go see it. He wants to see this money. He believes that, you know, the gold, some of the gold will be in there. But I'm thinking that he's not believing so much that all that gold is in there that's reported that supposedly that should be in there. So I'm anxious to hear about Fort Knox. Yeah, definitely. I'll be, you know, definitely waiting to hear about that, because as we're growing up, you always hear about Fort Knox. Oh, nobody could ever get into Fort Knox, and oh, it's so secure. And the next thing you know, we you know, there's little stories as you're growing up and stuff that said that, you know, the government's been taken away from Fort Knox and the gold has been depleting. And then it had even showed like conspiracy theories, you know, it was a few years back there, but they had showed like they supposedly got pictures and that it was empty. Wouldn't that be crazy if Donald Trump walks in there and that's empty? Oh my goodness.
It ain't empty.
Man, can you imagine if they walk in there and it's empty? I mean, yeah, I mean, footboxes don't we hear about here in the UK as well. And I mean, there's so much stuff that's been promised, and Trump so far has kept. Actually, I was blown away to how quick and how they moved in with this Doge with Elon Musk, and they took the head off the snake first with the USAID, and that was funding all stuff across the world, and that was crazy, and that was taxpayer money, and that kind of then put it out to the consciousness, especially in the States, of the ones that are just waking up now. That some of them would have gone, our money's being spent on that. So he's stopping the funding, and they're going to step forward now. We've got RFK coming in, and he's nothing's off the table. They just want true science. They blabber on about science all the time, but when you can't discuss something or question anything, that's not science, is it? So that's awesome. We've got the JFK, the RFK. You know, we've got them files coming out. We've got the 9/11 files coming out. I mean, we got a lot of stuff to look forward this year, and hopefully by the end of this year, with disclosure will move on a step as well. You know, because that's that was on that was last on the list of the things I remember. I can't remember everyone. There's about 7 items they were going through, and that one's last. Hopefully we'll get to that by the end. But interesting year either way, I would say, Ramblers.
Sure.
Oh, for sure, brother, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we keep on hearing, you know, for bushings, they paid $90,000 for, it's this little bag of bushings. I mean, we're in construction and stuff. We know bushings is like a washer. You know, you got some bushings. You paid 90 grand for a bag of those. Hey, if you would pay 90 grand for a bag, I'm going to be slanging them, you know, little washers to them all day long. I'm going to go get bags from the hardware store, and I probably got bags of them sitting in totes from, you know, from work. So I'm going to get little bags of them. I'm not even going to charge them 90 grand. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be like, hey, 50 grand. You know, I'm giving you 40 grand off. Here's a bag of bushings that I got at the dollar store. What in the world? Jackie's got
was that Pentagon, was it? All that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Because I know on the Pentagon, they're, you know, trillions. Like the day before 9/11, wasn't there? That, and this is going back now. They were trillions that just gone, which we all know was funding the black projects and the cabal and these breakaway civilizations I'd taken, the technology, you know, is an endless thing. But also I saw something, it was a coffee cup, like single coffee cup, $12,000, you know, just for one. You know, it's crazy. I mean, by the end of this, a lot of your debt in America is going to be the national debt's going up. By the time Trump's finished, man, that'll probably be halved, you know. And like you say, once they start drilling and making money, inflation comes down, it'll be paid off in no time. I mean, it's insane. And, you know, fair play to him doing it. And they can say what they want about him. I mean, everyone's, you know, no matter stuff being said about Elon Musk, and anyone that knows me, I've always been on the fence with Elon Musk. I mean, some of the stuff I'm like, yeah, some of the stuff I'm like, I don't know. And for me, I'm very empathic. I feel people, and even by watching a video or someone speaking, I get some kind of vibe from them, and that's how I get around the earth. And with Elon Musk, I've never been able to read a thing off that guy. It's like he's an AI or some kind of neutral being. But I would say he's chosen his path, and he's trying to help, man. I mean, you know, I think he's there working day and night. The guy barely sleeps as well. This is another thing with him. I mean, and he's like, he plays these computer games, which a lot of people might not know. He plays these mad computer games all the time. He's forever tweeting. He's doing that. He's creating all his businesses. It's like, I wonder if he's got one of them chips in his brain, you know, and he's got them chips and he's playing computer through that. He's tweeting through that, you know, he's calculating everything through it. I do wonder. But it's such an interesting time, man. And I mean, what are they doing? They're finding out the corruption and money that's being wasted, and America now, and they're standing back for freedom of speech, and the American dream feels like it's coming back, and that's a beautiful thing. And let's make it a golden age, not just in America, but worldwide. That's what I say.
Yeah, back up a little bit. Yeah, Jackie was just going to ask. We had one of the questions. Somebody questioned in on Elon Musk. There, go ahead. What was the Elon Musk?
Well, I was going to ask you guys what your take on Elon Musk
was,
but you've already answered that.
Yeah, you answered that one.
And now you've talked about Doge and their discovery. So now inquiring American minds are really wanting to know the big question: Doge dividend checks. Will we be seeing anything? What does Trump say?
Oh yeah, we're hearing about that. That if they reach the 2 trillion mark, that the taxpayers in America will get some of our money back, and we'll get a check of $5,000 each taxpayer. Some are saying per household or whatever. But anyway, if that was, you know, if that came true, that would be awesome. I know a lot of families that would help, you know, people that are, you know, struggling to pay their bills and so forth. You know, I mean, there's a lot of Americans that could use that tax break back to them. And yeah, and then with Elon Musk too, I mean, I think he's just been doing great things lately. I mean, the guy's not even getting paid. The government, so everybody thinks that, oh, the government's paying Elon Musk to do this. No, they're not paying him. Some of his team, though, they are paying some of his team, but they got hired on as federal employees. So they're actually hired into the government now. They work for the government. And so those people are getting a paycheck. But as far as Elon Musk, no, he's doing it for free. I mean, wow. I mean, people need to, you know, step back and give people a chance when, you know, I think he's great. When he came out with that chainsaw that he got from Argentina, I thought that was just hilarious as hell, because that shows personality. I like their personality. I like seeing them as a human being. I don't like them, you know, with a stick up their butt the whole time. I mean, that just looks like, you know, a stick politician on a stick walking around. You know, they get puppet mastered. No, these guys are fun. I mean, he wants to talk about, you know, colonizing Mars one time, because the future of our kids and so forth, you know, what are we going to do if an asteroid hits the Earth? There goes, you know, humanity, not just one, you know, country or something. There goes humanity. You know, no more humans ever. I mean, it's good to look towards the future and have somebody that, you know, everybody's like, oh, and it's just Elon Musk too coming up with this. No, man, this guy is so smart. He hired some of the smartest minds that are out there. I mean, that is great. I mean, how smart? That's smart. Like you said, you got a chip in your head and you went out there and you hired all these smart kids. Would be the best way to do it.
No chip in the head for me, Sky. No chip in the head for me. And they're using AI, of course. Don't forget that. AI is a lot to do with this.
Yeah, I don't think I want a chip in my head. That just doesn't sound too
but
fun.
each to their own. I mean, if you want to choose, as long as they're not pushing chips in the head, and you can choose if you want one and you don't, fair enough. But I think with Elon Musk, right, you got people like the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates. They're extinctionists. They want to depopulate. They want to coal. They basically want to coal 60-70% of the consciousness on Earth. Well, Elon Musk has got another. He wants to expand humanity. You know, and I think he's chosen humanity, you know, and he has a lot of kids. And, you know, I want my kids to grow up into a beautiful, secure, safe, incredible world where they can be true to themselves and have an amazing time on Earth. It's time for the golden age. And he wants to expand out into Mars and expand out into the universe. And that is a smart thing to do. The universe, from what we can see just from visible light, is it's probably infinite. So once we start to expand out, I think it's beautiful. But I think Elon Musk could have gone either way. But you know, a lot of these people, this installation, this matrix, even these billionaires have been born into it, and now it's come to this point that some of them have probably thought, you know what, I don't really want to have a nuclear holocaust or coal half the world and live in bunk, you know. And he's chosen humanity, and he's chosen that side. And this is beginning in America, and it's already, the consciousness and the awareness of the Great Awakening has been happening for many years now. It's in overdrive now. It's like you pull a plug out of the bath and the water's going down. You stop, we're at the top, and now we're hitting that bit where, you know, soon everything's moving to change, and we're moving into a different level of consciousness, a higher awareness, a higher level of consciousness, where humanity as a species is going to start perceiving and thinking about things differently. And that includes where we're going, where we've been, where we've come from, and what we are, you know. And it just, even the way we look at things now, like the quantum world is something I perceive a lot of my stuff through the quantum reality now. And when you start to understand that, it flips the mind and the consciousness, and that's what they say, we're moving into a higher density or higher realm of reality. And I can truly see that happening in real time. So yeah, I just wanted to add that, Scotty.
Yeah, that's exactly, bro. And Jackie's got some more for us here too. What you got?
Well, speaking of super smart young people, I want to talk a little bit more about Caroline Levitt. I know that you found some good information about her that maybe you could share. And I want to know how you guys feel about how she's handling the press.
Oh, yeah. You know, I'm a Caroline Levitt fan. I mean, that's a prime example. I mean, she's our daughter's age. I mean, I find what she is doing is amazing. You know, we send a lot of respect out. Definitely send a lot of respect out to her. And, you know, I've heard people, you know, kind of criticizing her about wearing her cross too. I'm not too sure why people are criticizing her for wearing a cross. I mean, there's freedom of speech and freedom of being who you are again. That's what America is our freedoms. And, you know, to go on and, you know, make fun of somebody for wearing a cross, that just didn't, you know, that didn't sit well with me for one. And then, yeah, you know, this is a woman that had a baby. And 4 days later, she's back at work. I mean, she wants to work for the American people, and she is proving herself by how hard she is working. I mean, she sleeps, I believe it said that she only sleeps like 4 hours a day. I mean, man, you're a strong chick. You only sleep in 4 hours a day, and she's flying on planes, going to all these different places, you know, talking to people. I mean, yeah, I definitely send props to her and salute her. Caroline Levitt, you know, you got our vote. You're awesome. Have you heard about Caroline?
Totally. I think she's amazing, mate. And to watch her, she talks logic, reasoning, and she makes sense. And the fake news in this propaganda way that they've always tried to pit people against each other or put in this fake narrative, she just comes out with the truth. And I saw a funny clip of her on that program that drives me mad in America called The View with Whoopi Goldberg, and they were trying to destroy her, and she's talking sense and logic, and I can definitely stand by her. And I think she's a very, very intelligent, a very conscious person. And she certainly cares about the American people. And again, it's like you say, that Trump's team, man, none of them seem to sleep. I mean, I like my sleep. I mean, they are working overtime. And let's be honest, man, what he's done in his first, let's say his first 30 days in office, and they slowed down getting the confirmations in for people. They really do. Probably because they're destroying stuff, especially the FBI. They probably haven't slept deleting stuff at the moment, right? Yeah, and you know, they're working overtime, and what he's done in 30 days is more than we never saw Biden. I mean, you had them all, the people, the media, he's sharp as a tool. He's there walking on stage, sniffing kids, falling over. He's there in a press conference, an ice cream van comes past, he goes and gets himself an ice cream. He didn't know what goddamn planet he was on, you know. Now he's sharp as a tool. You know, trust me. Joe Biden, he's as sharp as they lie, you know, it's manipulation. And we all know the media now has run, and the USAID is paying them all, you know, it's paying them all. So, of course, they're saying that it's state run. I mean, they say the Russian news and all that. It's the same here. I mean, the BBC and that is paid for by them. They don't think for themselves. They read something. They get NPCs on there. They pay them. They don't know. They know nothing. They're not thinking for themselves, and that's why things like podcasts and new media is taking over, because people now can go online and people can talk about it openly. You know, especially on X. I mean, X is good because you've got freedom of speech. I mean, you know, it's Facebook isn't like that, and I hate to say it, YouTube isn't great, but hopefully this will change as things move on, because freedom of speech, man. I mean, I might not like, you know, some of the things I don't agree with other things. I won't go into it, but I don't agree with it, and it doesn't sit right in my soul. But I would never stop anyone with the right to say it. Don't stop my freedom of speech, and I won't stop yours. Even if I might not like a word that comes out of your mouth, Scotty, but I would fight to the death for your right to speak it. Because freedom of speech, and in England now, man, you're getting to the point where it's freedom of thought. People are praying in the streets. I shared a video on the Ramblers. This is real. This has happened in more than one place. People are praying in their mind on the public place, and they're taking them away for thinking. And even in people's houses in these certain zones, if your neighbor walks past and sees me in my house praying or I meditate, I mean, come on, it's crazy.
I heard that they wanted to arrest people also if you're within that vicinity of where they say it's a no pray zone and everything too, that even if you're in your house praying, you're not allowed to pray in your house?
Even if you're in your house and the neighbor sees you, then you're not allowed. I mean, when I saw that video, if I was there praying in my mind in the street and that copper come up to me, and I'm not a violent man, I'm a man of peace, I probably would have banged him in the mouth. Who are you, mate? On a public street, thinking in my own brain, come on, man. And they're calling Putin a dictator, Starmer. Come on, mate. Maybe, and this is what JD Vance called out. He said, maybe you should start looking at yourself. You're fighting against them, but what are you fighting for? What, to enslave the world into the World Economic Forum agenda of these psychopathic billionaires who believe they have a better bloodline than mine and yours and the people? No, it's not good, you know.
That's why Trump and Musk are such smart men, and it's like they have a round table too, bro, because they don't want to smash people down. They want to bring people up. They see the long term, because if you keep all of the people that are in your countries in poverty, they're just going to want to rebel. They're going to want to protest. They're going to want to fight you. I mean, why are you fighting your own people? We elect you. I mean, why are we fighting you? We should be helping each other. I mean, exactly. It's just, hopefully, Trump and
they've tricked us. They've tricked the consciousness of democracy to believe that we have this choice, but we don't. Or we haven't had, and it's been a certain group of entities and beings and corporations have been controlling it with this illusion of controlled opposition, and it's all going to an agenda point, and this is changing. But something I found, like, I don't know if you saw the social security things they went in. I mean, I wanted to read out a couple of these because the people getting their checks, right? So I'm just going to start it. I could go back, but I'm going to start it from 120 years to 129. They were these 3,472,849 people were getting checks, right? 140. This is in the country with 60. I mean, 140 to 149. 3,542 and 44 people were getting checks. All right, 170 to 179, 6,000. And this is, I won't read them all, but then it even goes up to from 220 to 229 years old, 1,039 people who are getting checks. There's even one for 240 to 249 years old. One person was getting a check. You know, who is this? Hillary Clinton? I mean, and then there was even one 360 to 369 years old. Okay, then.
Yeah, I live in America, and nobody's ever told me about any of their relatives living that long. No, there ain't nobody that's 300 years old. There's nobody that's 200 years old.
It's them bloody reptilians. It's them reptilians, Scotty.
The reptilians, the ones that can live forever. I mean, you guys should have seen the one the other day. You know, we went over and we were visiting some friends, and the 300-year-old grandma came out the back like, "My precious, hello everyone. I've been living for 300 years. And I still get a Social Security check. Yes, the precious Social Security. Oh my God, I love it."
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. And they've only just started. So you can imagine where this is heading. I mean, some of the things I've seen were ridiculous. It's like transgender opera in Somalia. The money they've wasted, man. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions, billions on nothing. And yeah, funny times, man. But, we're in the age of Aquarius now, the age of information where everything comes to light. And, I feel it's only going to get more batshit crazy as time goes on, and even maybe a little bit darker in places, because there is some terrible things that have been going on in the shadows of Earth for thousands of years.
Oh yeah, I mean, the American taxpayers have been paying for people to get circumcised. We've been paying in other countries, and I mean, I would never sign anything that said that. Yeah, hey man, I want to sign that. I want to pay for roads that lead to nowhere. I want to pay for buildings that you build and big old diesel plants that they can't even have diesel because they can't afford it. And then how about $20 million to Sesame Street in Iraq? What the hell? I think
that was 50 million. I think that was 50 million. And they had it's $50 million for condoms in Gaza and Africa. Do you know how many condoms you could buy for $50 million? I mean, come on. And I think in Afghanistan, they were sending money to people that had died through the American war in Afghanistan. They've been paying their family. When the veterans in America are on the streets on fentanyl. I mean, come on. I mean, there was a petrol station in Afghanistan, something like 170 million. It doesn't even have a door on it. It's just an empty building. This is corrupt and they're stealing the money, man.
We got $10 million to the Taliban because we were giving them meals. I mean, these are guys that are shooting at our soldiers. You're going to feed them? Why are you going to make them stronger? Hey, let's make them stronger so they're better fighters because we want a good fight. The Americans are going to kick the shit out of you. So you better be ready. Let's feed them first. Make sure that they get a nice meal in their tummy. And then, I mean, we found lists. I found an awesome list, and I'll post it. But I found an awesome list that broke down each country that we are sending money to. We're sending money to Iraq. I mean, we're sending money to Egypt. These are like, this isn't like, a couple bucks. This is tons and tons of money for all these foreign weird things that they got going on, all these weird projects that they have no receipts. Even though they say, oh yeah, well, let's say, 42 billion. We sent 42 billion over here, but we have no receipts. Wait. We gave you as taxpayers 42 billion to go towards, something that you thought was great. But you don't have receipts to say that you did spend 42 billion there. So you probably gave us a receipt that could be, you spent, $1 million. Where'd all the rest of that money go? It goes to like they were talking about, they found these big, huge planes, cargo planes. And inside the cargo plane is a soap dispenser. And the soap dispenser is like 10 grand. I mean, a soap dispenser. Man, I'll get you some hand sanitizers from the dollar store. You can give me $10,000. And then they're coming up with paper clips, $1,200 paper clips. You pay $1,200 for one paper clip from taxpayers' dollars? We need some better people. I'm glad Doge is in there because we need some better people that know how to spend money, because who in the hell pays $1,200 for a paper clip? $90,000 for bushings. Where do you shop? Because
I'm in the wrong trade. I've been in the wrong trade, mate. I should have been in paperclip salesman. I'll tell you that. And I mean, but it does get darker than that, because they've been funding terrorist groups that have attacked the Western world. They're funding and paying and creating it to create this everlasting war or the need or the fear tactic. I mean, it's crazy. But then, I mean, I watched here and they showed this on the news in the UK, and you see the people protesting about it in Washington. I mean, people were protesting that they're looking into fraud and money. I mean, I just couldn't understand that. And what I would say to that is I think RFK can't take the fluoride out of the water quick enough and take some of these chemicals out of the food quick enough. Because when he does, I can see a mass amount of consciousness in America and the United States is going to wake up from a terrible dream and suddenly realize, hang on a minute. And that'll probably be the time they wake. The fluoride's out, the chemicals are out. They start to wake up, and then they get a check in the post from Trump, $5,000. I mean, but there'll probably be still some people protesting about that. Oh, Trump gave us $5,000. Ain't fair. I want it to go on transgender guinea pigs. It's crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up because Jackie and I were bullshitting about that the other day. And we were like, man, there's so many of these people that are downing Trump. They're downing Elon Musk. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days ago came out that if they come up with $2 trillion, that American taxpayers will get a nice, tax rebate back to them of $5,000. Now everybody's like, yeah, Trump's a good guy. Yeah, we liked him from the beginning. Oh, yeah, Elon Musk. Yeah, we like him too. Man, just because they're going to give you $5,000, all of a sudden you jumped on the gravy train. I mean, come on now. I mean, that's just how a lot of people are, mindsets are. It's just bizarre. But Jackie has one for us too. Before we skip over that, here we go.
Just a comment. If the American people in the world survive the Biden administration, then we can survive anything. Quote unquote from myself.
Totally.
Well, I love that, but we've got Keir Starmer in the UK, and if he makes his 4 years term, there'll be no UK left. But before that happens, Scotty, I'll be coming over to Northern California with my family. So,
That sounds good to us. You got a spot with me. We'd be working together every day, going and do some more construction. The other day, we set a power pole in the rain. It was fun.
Well, we're certainly used to the rain in the UK, man. We had our first day of sunshine in about 3 months today. So,
yeah, we finally got some sunshine back out. It's been beautiful. It was a bit windy the other day, but the only thing that we noticed is the damn contrails are still being blasted all over our sky. I mean, I got a nice picture and some video of the other day. I mean, the contrail goes from one side of the sky to the other side of the sky, and they say it normally only lasts about 30 minutes. Bullshit. I call bullshit because I see those contrails and they don't, they're not disappearing after 30 minutes. So that's
I think you're talking about chemtrails, not contrails. But an interesting thing happened when they cut the funding for USAID. The chemtrails stopped worldwide for a few days, and I was talking to you about this. And then a friend of mine, I can't say his name, but he does know some stuff. And he told me, he goes, and now they're refunding them again. And a lot of the planes that are flying all across the world now are unregistered. You cannot pick them up on the radar. That this is one of their biggest things that the bad side or the black hats need to control the consciousness. And I'm sure even Trump started to call this out now, the chemtrails, and that's something that needs to stop because the sun is not bad for us. The planet goes through cycles and changes. The sun goes through changes, and the sun is the giver of consciousness. The ancient civilizations of the world knew this is why they worship the sun, because we are in a universe of light. The consciousness comes through the sun, and it affects your well-being, your health, your mental state, depression, all of this stuff. So, yeah, them chemtrail. Hey, puppy! Scott's dog's come on.
Yeah, Hank's trying to get in. Let's see if he'll let. Here, I'll show him real quick. Oh, he ran. He's camera shy. He ran away right away.
He's like his mommy.
He's like Jackie, camera shy. They ran off. Yeah, he was going to make an appearance there for a minute, but he dipped out. But yeah, we got one last question here too. Go ahead. I accidentally pressed a button.
So, Brett, Scott, we've been talking a lot about the golden age, and Trump talks a lot about the golden age for America, and we talk about it globally. So my question is, how can we, as a collective consciousness, encourage a positive impact and support Trump's peaceful vision? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we just need to, for one, as Americans and as, not just Americans, but as, the world, we all need to, start raising that veil and show that we are peaceful because, a lot of people talk about it too. No other civilization is going to want to come and visit us or anything like that if, we're hostile. And we just need to come together anyway. I mean, people shouldn't hate, we shouldn't be hating each other. We should be loving each other. We should be learning from each other. I mean, to have like the Ramblers of the Round Table, and I love being part of this because there's so many people that come from all these different places, and their opinions and their thoughts are so welcome here. And it just shows, like Cash being leader of the FBI now, the American dream. Americans can come together, all these different races, all these different thoughts, all these different religions. We can all come together, and we can lower that veil of like you said, the dark state. We can lower that veil if we come together and we really push, and really mean it. I mean, we got to mean it with our hearts too, that we're sending light and love to each other, that we're sending good thoughts, good vibrations throughout the day, because sound frequency, voice frequencies, words are spelling. That's why, they call it spells, spellings, they're going to create spells. If we just spell bad things all day and say bad things all day, it's going to create that dark veil will just stay there. But if we can open up and we could say good things to each other and accept each other, mainly, let's accept each other. Yeah. How about you on that?
Well, that was beautiful, Scotty. I love that, mate. And what a beautiful message. I mean, my advice would be, I'm just talking openly here to anyone that watches. A lot of people watching now probably already on this, but anyone that watches it, number one, turn that news off, and turn off that mainstream media and stop listening to that. And the second thing would be to understand your own power and our own power. Understand that, we are here perceiving reality, but we're also co-creating it, and consciousness creates reality. So be very, like you say, very careful with your words, but your feelings, your thoughts, and to what you project out into the reality field, and also to what you take in affects your field and what you put out. So we really can do that. And I mean, small acts of kindness is another thing you can do. You see an old lady in the street, she's lonely, go and say hello to her. My wife's great for this. You can go and speak to them, and if you see someone in trouble, help them. Or someone, sometimes your friends ring you up and they might be, a bit of the lower consciousness, but they just want to vent. Listen to them. Things like this will change the world. And realize that we don't have to listen and go along with group conformity, because they do use the behavior patterns of an ape species, because we are a tribal ape species. We're just a higher version of that. We're a different higher version of that, but that does run in our DNA, and that comes with certain behavior patterns, and they use that against us, which really is our superpower. But they know, it's almost like a long time ago someone knew how to program these patterns. It's like group conformity. An example of that would be a simple two words, conspiracy theorists, which was brought into the collective consciousness by the CIA when JFK was shot. Anyone that questioned that, and they put it through media, through the Operation Mockingbird, conspiracy theorists, and that got him programmed into the consciousness. So then things like COVID, if you just wanted to ask a simple question, well, did these masks work? Conspiracy theorists. And that affected so much of the consciousness then, was just because it's group conformity. So think for yourself, be a loving person, and we do not have to go along with psychopathic billionaires that have all to gain, and a lot of them probably have. In the very least, they've stolen, corrupt, lied, and cheated. But obviously, this child trafficking thing is a horrible thing that's been going on there for a long time, and that's another thing I can imagine they've been pre-programmed the consciousness to get ready for this, and I imagine we're stepping into that now, because I would personally say if that would be one of the things from the ETs on the outside that are in communication with governmental groups, and would be you can't move on and be an intergalactic species if you're doing this. If kids are being trafficked, killed, raped, slavery would be another thing. And I imagine war is on the list that you need to create peace on Earth, and that's why we're trying to head towards peace on Earth. Though the cabal seem to have gone, they had a very strong point in America. They're probably still there, but now it almost feels like that energy is now retreated, especially to Europe, maybe Australia as well, Canada. And the people there really need to start standing up, and hopefully America and the people of America will inspire us through freedoms of speech and choice, and we can come together in peace, love, and unity. That would be my advice.
Yeah, that was beautiful, brother. And Jackie's got another one for you here.
Yeah, I just want to make a statement that I do think we should keep an open mind with this new administration and give them a chance to make things right. And there's a lot to fix, undo, and redo. So
yeah, that goes on to Donald Trump. The other day, I saw him giving a speech, and he's calling out the governor of Maine, because she's all for men that relate as a woman being in female sports. And Trump told her, the other day, well, we're not doing that anymore. And she had tried to say that, oh, well, we don't get paid through you. You know, we don't have to listen to you. And he goes, well, you better listen because we're the federal government and or otherwise we'll cut you off and you'll have no money to your state. Man, it's so funny. I mean, who wants a man fighting a woman? I mean, nobody. I mean, as I was taught growing up, you see a man laying hands on a woman, kick the shit out of him. I mean, I'm sorry if I cuss right there or whatever, but that's what you're going to do. You know, you see somebody putting hands on a woman like that. I mean, that goes on to, you know, the boxing. That was horrible. If anybody watched that, I mean, that was horrible. It's a man. He's a man. And he punched and beat up this little girl. I mean, if I was that girl's dad, I would have been waiting afterwards to, yep, give him a piece of my mind. I'll tell you what, I would have did some damage to that boy. Yep. So I'm just saying, I'm glad Trump's calling them out. And because I did not believe in that. That's just horrible. I mean, to have guys fighting against a woman, I mean, that's just, if I go throw a wig on and, you know, I want to go box some girls. I mean, what is wrong, you know, with society that's okay, that I get to compete and in a boxing ring with a woman, you know, that's, you know, small. She was like, you know, so much smaller than that guy. It was just ridiculous. And I heard that Elon Musk said that if they don't take his medal away from him and the money that he won, that he's backing out. So I thought that was great by Elon Musk's part too, because that's just not right, man. And yeah, Jackie had something.
Ex Copper came in.
Oh, what's up? What's up, Ex Copper?
I just want to mention his show.
What's up, brother?
I got to get used to saying it, the Ex Copernicus show. But
yeah, we wanted
today
to give
he
you a
talked
shout
about
out, brother.
theorists, conspiracy theorists, and tomorrow he's going to talk about prophets and freedom fighters. But I wanted to let everybody know with episode 5 coming up. Did you want to talk about him? Because he just came into the show.
Yeah, with our next episode, we're going to have a special guest. His name's Tyler. He'll be coming on with us March 8th. And yeah, you can check him out. He's the ex-Copernicus, right? Am I saying that right?
Copernicus.
Copernicus. Yes, that's right.
Copernicus.
Yes, you guys got to check him out. He's great. He's rambling. He's doing his thing. Watched a couple of his so far. Yeah, he's doing great out there. And we're going to be rambling about Bigfoot, the moon, CE5, and what's our last topic?
Humanity being controlled at a quantum level.
Yes. So those will be our topics for our next ramble on March 8th. Hopefully everybody comes in and sees that too, because should be a great ramble of 3 of us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, especially about consciousness being programmed through quantum reality. I find that I'm very into my quantum, so I'm looking very much forward to hearing his perspective on that. And yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I mean, the woman's, it's almost like an attack on feminine energy on that sense. And I mean, if a full-grown man wants to walk around and bark like a dog, that's their choice. And if they want to mutilate themselves or say that that's okay. We don't have to go along with that. But I mean, the very hard situation for me, I know this is, you know, some people won't like this, but some of the children that they are castrating them through chemically and putting them through these life-altering and changing surgeries as children is just not right to me. I mean, children don't know, you know, children, when I was a kid, I was a pirate one day and I was a spaceman the next, but they shouldn't be placing this into the consciousness of children. I think it's a terrible thing to do. And I mean, if people like that and they want to go and then maybe they should have their own sport category, you know, because a biological woman can't win. I mean, against that, it's just ridiculous. So, I mean, thanks for Trump finally calling out this nonsense. I mean, in Scotland now, and they won't like this, I'm saying this, the AI picked this up and won't like this, but I'm going to say it anyway. They're allowing kids to be llamas and to identify as llamas. Cats and dogs, they put cat litter and they put bowls of water on the floor for them. It's just crazy. I mean, let me put it like this. I got a dog. I chop the eyeballs off the dog. It doesn't become a female. And let's say I was at work, Scotty, on the construction. I had a terrible accident, and by accident, I chopped my penis off. Then it doesn't automatically make me a woman. I mean, you know, but I don't mind if an adult wants to do that, that's okay. But I'm not going to, you know, go up and I'm certainly not letting them go in the bathroom with my daughters. I can tell you that right now. You know, give them their own bathroom if that's the sense. But you know, it's just madness. I mean, it's got to the point where consciousness doesn't even know what it is. And I mean, at soul level, I would say that at a soul level, you can resonate masculine or feminine energy. I wouldn't deny that. But by taking tablets, going through these horrible surgeries, will not make you a man or a woman. It doesn't make you that. I mean, you know, it's just sad times like that. And I just feel when I see some of these women, and in America, I've seen the videos, and these are real people. And you're talking 18-month-year-old babies, and they're giving them these hormones and this stuff they're doing to 18 months. That the baby ain't. She says, oh, she can be. And I see the video. Oh, she can be a boy now, and all this. It's 18-month-year-old baby. It wants to, you know, it just wants to play with a rattle. You know, it wants his nappy change. It doesn't know what gender it is. It's crazy. So I'll leave it there. But you know, if I think that was a touchy subject, but I think it was good you brought that up, Scott. You know, because it had to be said.
Yeah, touchy subject, but it's something that definitely needs to be addressed because it just doesn't sit right with me. Yeah, that just, and I'm glad that Donald Trump is calling states out that won't get rid of that and ban that in their states and so forth. So I'm glad that he did that to Maine. And yeah, I mean, up and coming times are looking brighter and brighter every day. And I'm just really proud to be an American at this time that finally things are being done. Our voices are being heard. And yeah, I wanted to give a shout out and thank all the Ramblers. And you have to check out our Facebook page, Ramblers of the Roundtable on Facebook. And yeah, if you found any value in our ramble today, give us a like. And just much appreciated all of our mediators and so forth. So yeah, thank you all, and thank everybody for their comments and so forth too.
Yeah, I just want to mimic what Scotty said there, and thank you guys so much. We do love a good ramble, and obviously the next one will be in 2 weeks, as it is Jackie's birthday weekend. So happy birthday for next weekend, Jackie. So it'll be 2 weeks. It'll be the ex-copper coming on, as we say. We're talking about some very interesting subjects there, a bit more consciousness raising, but we wanted to do one on political times and this shift that's happening, and it is a huge shift that's going on in the world now. So we wanted to mention that. But yeah, this will be a really consciousness act. We're going to get deep into some beautiful theories, perspectives, and ideas, and you know, and just let our imagination flow, right? So thank you guys so much. I mean, if you haven't subscribed, if you could, that would actually really help us out. Stick a like on the video, and we look forward to rambling next time. So I've been Brett Smiler.
Yeah, and I'm Scott Nichols.
Jackie Nichols.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to X Copernicus. I want to make sure I said it right.
Right.
Can't wait to do a ramble with you, Tyler. And thanks for joining in too, brother. We be looking forward to it. And yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us. And hearts up. Hearts up to everybody. Much love. Sending light and love to everybody around.
Keep shining.
Yep.
Keep shining.
And keep shining, brother. Exactly. Keep shining. Bam.
Keep shining.
Right on, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Much appreciated. Much love.
Wow, that was amazing.